Have you ever prayed the same prayer so many times you stop believing it works? You ask God for peace, and the next morning you wake up with that same tight feeling in your chest before your feet even hit the floor. Maybe you've read every verse about worry. Maybe you've tried breathing exercises, journaling, cutting back on caffeine, deleting the news app, and your anxiety is still just there, sitting on your chest like it pays rent. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Most anxiety advice treats the mind like a machine you can fix with the right settings. But the Bible treats it like a heart problem with a heart solution. There's one passage, 4 sentences really, that doesn't just calm you down. It rewires how you handle every stressful moment for the rest of your life. Philippians 4, 6 and 7. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly why this verse works. Not just what it says and how to actually use it the next time your chest gets tight. Paul wrote this letter from a Roman prison, chained, awaiting a trial that could end in his execution. And he's not writing about his own fear, like he's telling other people not to be anxious. That's the part people skip past. This isn't theory from someone who's never been afraid. This is a man in chains telling you how he stays sane. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Read it fast and it sounds like a nice greeting card line. Slow down and it's actually a step-by-step instruction. Paul isn't saying don't feel anxious. He's saying, here's what to do with it when you do. Step 1 is the part everyone quotes and nobody applies. Be anxious for nothing, not feel nothing. Anxious for nothing means don't let worry be the thing that runs the show. Worry wants a seat at the table every single day. And Paul's basically saying you don't have to give it one. That's not denial, it's a decision. Then comes the actual mechanism. And this is where most people stop reading too early. In everything, by prayer and supplication. Not in the big things. In everything. The traffic, the email you're dreading, the diagnosis, the bill you can't pay yet. Paul doesn't rank your problems by size before deciding whether they're worth bringing to God. And notice the two words stacked together, prayer and supplication. Prayer is just talking to God. Supplication is asking for something specific. Most of us do one and skip the other. We either vent generally, God, I'm so stressed, or we go straight to the ask, please fix this, without actually sitting with him first. Paul wants both. Talk to him, then tell him exactly what you need. Then he adds something that changes everything, with thanksgiving. This is the part that trips people up because it feels backwards. Thank God before the anxiety's gone? Before the problem's solved? Yes, that's the point. Thanksgiving isn't the reward for answered prayer. It's the posture that makes room for peace in the first place. Try being anxious and grateful at the same time. It's almost impossible. Your brain can't fully hold both. That's not a coincidence. That's the design. Think about a kid who's scared of the dark. You can explain physics to them all night. Nothing's actually there. Shadows aren't dangerous. Monsters aren't real. And it won't touch the fear. But if you sit on the edge of the bed and they're not alone anymore, the fear doesn't need to be explained away. It just loses its grip. That's basically what's happening here. Paul isn't handing you an argument against anxiety. He's handing you access to a presence. Now here's verse 7, which is the actual payoff. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say the peace of God will explain your situation. It doesn't say you'll suddenly understand why this is happening or how it's going to work out. It says the peace surpasses understanding. It shows up without answering your questions. You can still not know how the bills get paid and still feel calm. You can still not know the test results and still sleep that night. That's not because the peace makes sense, it's because the peace doesn't need to. And that word guard isn't soft. In the original language, it's a military term. It's the picture of a soldier standing at a gate. Peace in this verse isn't a vibe. It's a sentry. It stands at the entrance to your heart and your mind, and it decides what gets in. Fear shows up at the gate wanting entry, and peace, God's peace, not manufactured calm, turns it away. Most of us have that backwards. We think peace is what happens after everything gets resolved. Paul's saying peace is what stands guard while things are still unresolved. That's the whole difference between the world's peace and God's peace. The world's peace needs a fixed circumstance. God's peace works inside the unfixed one. So how do you actually use this the next time your chest tightens up? First, name it out loud. Don't let anxiety stay vague and shapeless in your head. That's where it's strongest. Say the actual thing. I'm anxious about the doctor's appointment. I'm anxious I won't make rent. Vague dread is powerful. Named dread is something you can actually bring somewhere. Second, ask for the specific thing, not God help me feel better. Try, "God, I need you to help me know what to say in this conversation." Or, "I need peace before I walk into that room at 2 p.m." Specificity isn't disrespectful. It's honest. Third, and this is the one people skip, thank Him before you feel better. Not for the outcome you're hoping for something true right now. You woke up today. Someone in your life still answers the phone. You have air in your lungs and a roof tonight. Thank Him for that while the anxious thing is still sitting there unresolved. It won't feel natural the first few times. Do it anyway, and then let the peace guard the gate. That's the part you don't have to manufacture. You don't need to talk yourself into calm. You just stop trying to hold the door shut yourself and let something bigger stand there instead. This isn't a magic formula where you say the right words and the anxiety evaporates in 10 seconds. Some days it takes longer than others. Some fears are heavier and take more than one prayer to loosen their grip. But the pattern holds every time you actually use it. Naming the thing, asking specifically, thanking Him anyway, and letting peace take the post instead of you. Paul wrote this from a cell. He didn't know if he'd be alive in a month, and he still called it peace that surpasses understanding, because his peace was never tied to his circumstances changing. It was tied to who was standing at the gate. If your chest has been tight for a while now, this might be the moment to stop trying to think your way out of it and just bring it to Him instead. Not the polished version, the actual specific embarrassing thing that's keeping you up. Say it. Ask for exactly what you need. Thank Him anyway, and let peace do what it's built to do. If this hits something in you, drop Philippians 4:7 in the comments right now. Let your heart tell your head the striving's over. And if you know someone carrying something heavy this week, send them this. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is hand someone the verse before they even ask for it.